Today, we're diving into some of the most bizarre historical coincidences that are almost too strange to believe. The Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy parallels. Both presidents were elected to Congress in 46 and became president in 60. Lincoln was assassinated in Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln car made by Ford. Their successors were both named Johnson. Both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, were known by their three names and were killed before their trials. Coincidence? In 1891, a man was hit and killed by a taxi while riding a bicycle in London. In 1975, another man was killed while riding a bike in the same street by a taxi. Eerily, the two victims were reported to have very similar names and ages, and the accidents were caused by taxis with the same license plate number. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams' deaths, both founding fathers, instrumental in the American Revolution and drafting the Declaration of Independence, died on the same day. And guess what day it was? July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration. The Jim twins. Separated at birth and adopted by different families, identical twins Jim Lewis and Jim Springer were reunited at the age of 39. They discovered numerous similarities in their lives. Both named Jim, married women named Linda, divorced and remarried women named Betty, named their sons James Allen and James Allen, had dogs named Toy, smoked the same brand of cigarettes, and drove the same car. How about the Hoover Dam tragedy? The first person to die during the construction of the Hoover Dam was J.G. Tierney, a surveyor who drowned. 13 years later, to the day, his son, Patrick Tierney, also died at the dam. Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. Twain was born in 1835, just after the Halley's Comet appearance. He once famously predicted he would die when it returned, and true to his prediction, he passed away in 1910, the year the comet made its appearance. The Curse of the Ninth Symphony. A number of famous composers, including Beethoven, Schubert, Dvorak, and Mahler, passed away relatively soon after completing their Ninth Symphony. This led to a superstitious belief in the curse of the Ninth Symphony. The Titan and the Titanic. Morgan Robertson's novel Futility was written in 1898, and it describes the Titan, an unsinkable ship that hits an iceberg and sinks. 14 years later, the Titanic, deemed unsinkable, met the same fate. 3 ship sinkings named Titanian. Aside from the fictional Titan and the real Titanic, Titanian, a British steamer, sank in 1907 after a collision, adding to the eerie sequence of similarly named ship disasters. The Wilmer McLean House. The American Civil War started in McLean's farm in Manassas, Virginia, when the First Battle of Bull Run took place, and incredibly, it ended in his parlor in Appomattox, where General Lee surrendered to General Grant. And then there's the Edgar Allen Poe prediction. In 1838, Edgar Allen Poe wrote a novel, and in this novel, the crew of a shipwrecked vessel resorted to cannibalism, eating a cabin boy named Richard Parker. Now, many years later, in 1884, the yacht Mignonette sank, and the surviving crew, stranded without food, notoriously ate the cabin boy, also named Richard Parker. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. This assassination was the one that triggered World War I, and it had a strange twist. See, the initial assassination attempt failed, but later that day, one of the conspirators happened to be at a cafe where Ferdinand's driver took a wrong turn and stopped the car right in front of him, allowing the assassination to carry on. Creepy, right?